Kevin De Bruyne. Fragility. He plays football like a calculator running a perfect physics equation, capable of splitting defenses with one surgical pass. He is the ultimate modern playmaker, the engine that powers the greatest dynasty English football has ever seen. His genius is undeniable, but the problem that stalks him is fragility. His body operates at such a high frequency that it is perpetually on the brink of overload. Since his career-defining move to Manchester City, KDB has missed over 110 matches due to various injuries, a crippling number for a player of his influence. The moment he takes a hard challenge, the moment he stretches for a 50-yard pass, the entire fanbase holds its breath. It is always the hamstrings, the ankles, the ligaments that refuse to keep pace with his mind's speed. Last year, he suffered a grade 3 tear, forcing him off in the Champions League final, the single most critical moment of City's quest for the treble. It was a cruel, public display of his defining flaw. Fans know the system only runs perfectly when he is on the pitch, creating an absolute dependence that is constantly threatened by his physical limits. His genius is world-beating, but his availability is a perpetual question mark. The issue with Kevin De Bruyne is that his brain works faster than his muscles can handle, turning every season into a high-stakes, medical gamble. Mohamed Salah. Predictability. He arrived at Liverpool and was instantly crowned the Egyptian king, rewriting scoring records with speed and lethal efficiency. He is one of the Premier League's greatest ever wingers, but his immense talent has created a problem: predictability. Defenses know exactly what he is going to do. The sequence is drilled into every opposing left-back: receive the ball on the right touchline, cut inside sharply onto the left foot, and fire a shot towards the far post or curl it into the near corner. Yet, for years, no one could stop it. His speed and precision made the predictable unstoppable. However, in recent seasons, especially when his pace has naturally dipped, that predictability has become an issue. Teams deploy double-marking tactics, forcing him wide or making him pass back, starving him of the space needed for the signature curl. Critics point to long stretches where he loses his goal-scoring touch because opponents have entirely solved the puzzle. His brilliance is such that he often defies the geometry of the defense, but when he struggles, it is almost always because the simple, world-famous move has been successfully blocked. He's too reliant on that world-class left boot, making him less two-footed than other elite wingers. The problem with Mohamed Salah is that he has one primary weapon, and the Premier League's best defenses have finally finished writing the instruction manual on how to disable it. Erling Haaland. Isolation. He is a goal-scoring machine, a Viking striker built to break records and terrorize goalkeepers. In his first season, he shattered the Premier League scoring record, turning the Golden Boot race into a monologue. But the flaw in this perfection is isolation. Haaland is arguably the most dominant pure goal scorer, but he is also the most removed player in Manchester City's possession-centric system. His game is not about build-up, intricate passing, or sustained link-up play. It is about pure, brutal, final third execution. When City's midfield maestro, KDB, is out injured or the team is facing a low-block defense, Haaland can disappear from the game entirely. His touches per game are notoriously low, often less than the goalkeeper, and his contribution outside the final third is minimal. Pundits constantly debate whether City is a better footballing team when they play a false nine, suggesting that Haaland's presence sacrifices the beautiful, positional fluidity that defines Pep Guardiola's philosophy. He relies entirely on his teammates feeding him surgically precise chances. If the supply line is cut, he stands alone, a powerful, unused weapon. The biggest problem with Erling Haaland is that he is an isolated entity, a goal-scoring terminator who contributes little to the actual football match until the final, definitive moment of impact. Virgil van Dijk. Complacency. He redefined central defense, arriving at Liverpool as the final piece in their title-winning puzzle. He is physically immaculate, tactically superb, and his presence alone seemed to eliminate pressure from his teammates. But his defining issue, especially after winning every major trophy, is complacency, which sometimes presents as a lack of urgent recovery pace. VVD is famously a front-foot defender. He uses his intelligence to read the game and intercept the pass before the opponent is ever a threat. When he is at his best, he barely seems to sweat. However, when he gets caught flat-footed or is forced into a desperate recovery sprint, he can look slow, even arrogant. Critics point to moments where he relies too much on his massive frame and reputation rather than simple, lung-bursting effort, leading to shocking individual errors. There is a perceptible drop in his intensity following the peak of the 2019 to 2020 era. That 1-yard gap he used to eliminate is now sometimes 3. That arrogance of always knowing better is sometimes exploited by quicker, hungrier forwards. The problem with Virgil van Dijk is that having been the absolute best for so long, he occasionally plays like he expects the opposition to respect his reputation rather than challenge his position. Cole Palmer. Penalty dependence. The Chelsea sensation is the ultimate attacking wildcard, cool, two-footed, and capable of unlocking the tightest defenses. His rise has been meteoric, but the problem in his profile is penalty dependence. A disproportionate number of his sensational goal tally comes from the penalty spot, where he is ruthlessly clinical. While his ability to win and convert penalties is an elite skill, it creates a fragile foundation for his headline numbers. When Chelsea stops winning penalties, or if a team can defensively mitigate the threat of a foul in the box, the burden on him to score from open play increases exponentially. Furthermore, his overall game, while beautiful in possession, can occasionally lack the physical dynamism and sustained off-the-ball running needed to truly dominate top-level games from minute 1 to 90, especially when compared to his explosive peers. The issue with Cole Palmer is that his goal numbers are too heavily skewed by penalties, placing an unsustainable reliance on one phase of the game rather than broad, open-play dominance. Phil Foden. Consistency. He is the designated heir to the throne at Manchester City, a generational English talent with sublime close control, positional versatility, and a unique knack for scoring vital goals. He is the golden boy who became a world-class player. But his biggest hurdle is consistency. Foden is capable of weeks of untouchable brilliance, followed by spells where he looks overwhelmed, invisible, or simply overworked by the demands of Pep Guardiola's demanding rotation. Unlike the veterans around him, Foden's form still fluctuates wildly. One week he scores a stunning hat-trick. The next, he makes poor positional decisions and loses possession cheaply, leading to his quick removal from the lineup. This is partly due to his positional ambiguity. He plays on both flanks, as an attacking midfielder, and even deeper, meaning he has never mastered one role. He carries the weight of English expectation, and every rare off game is magnified by the demanding media. Guardiola constantly praises his talent but manages his minutes ruthlessly, a testament to Foden's need to maintain performance week over week. The problem with Phil Foden is that he is a burst of genius, a player who needs to turn his unpredictable, match-winning flashes into an absolute, reliable weekly guarantee. Bruno Fernandes. Wastage. He arrived at Manchester United as the talismanic leader, dragging the club through years of turbulence with relentless effort, goals, and assists. He is defined by his high-risk, high-reward approach. The problem that defines him, however, is wastage. Bruno plays every game like a desperate gambler, taking shots from impossible angles, attempting through balls that have a 1% chance of success, and constantly giving away possession in dangerous areas. His statistics are padded by sheer volume. He has massive numbers for chances created, but also for misplaced passes and shots off target. He treats the referee like a personal enemy, spending half the game flailing, screaming, or complaining, draining energy from the team. His body language is notoriously poor, often turning into a furious, isolated figure when things go wrong, which undermines his status as captain. He lacks the calm composure needed in critical moments, often turning a decisive counterattack into a hurried, predictable cross or a hopeful long shot. The issue with Bruno Fernandes is that his relentless desire to be the hero results in a huge amount of wasted effort, making his brilliance wildly inefficient and frustrating to his teammates. Declan Rice. Offensive hesitation. He is the modern, elite defensive midfielder, physically dominant, tactically smart, and possesses the ability to screen a defense single-handedly. His record-breaking transfer to Arsenal confirmed his status as one of the world's best defensive forces. His problem, however, is a lingering offensive hesitation. Rice is superb at retrieving the ball and providing safe, simple horizontal passes, maintaining possession efficiently. But when asked to be the creative engine, to drive forward, break the lines with risky, vertical passes, or take a shot, he pauses. There is a detectable moment of doubt, a hesitation to fully commit to the attacking side of his game. At Arsenal, he is constantly pushed to be more than just a defensive shield, yet he often reverts to the safer, deeper role that defined him at West Ham. While he occasionally scores stunning goals that prove his technical ability, these moments are the exception, not the rule. To become the complete, world-class midfield pillar, he needs to eliminate that self-doubt and become a constant, aggressive threat moving forward. The problem with Declan Rice is that his defensive instincts are so powerful, they often stifle the aggressive, line-breaking creative freedom required of an elite modern number 8. Bukayo Saka. Physical overload. He is Arsenal's star boy, the fearless winger who carries the club's attacking threat on his back. He is technical, rapid, and clutch under pressure, but his defining problem is physical overload. Since breaking into the first team, Saka has played almost every meaningful minute, becoming the most fouled player in the squad. Opponents target him with relentless, aggressive challenges, knowing he is the key to unlocking the Arsenal attack. He has a unique combination of speed and low center of gravity that makes him hard to tackle legally. However, the constant knocks, ankle sprains, kicks to the calf, pulls on the hamstring, have added up. Every time he is clattered to the ground and slow to get up, a wave of panic ripples through the Emirates. He plays through pain, sometimes visibly limping, because the team lacks a comparable alternative on the right wing. This heavy dependence has turned his right foot into a target, putting him at constant risk of a career-altering injury. The issue with Bukayo Saka is that his team's dependency forces him to endure a physical pounding that is unsustainable for a player of his age, making his body his greatest weakness. Martin Ødegaard. One-footedness. Arsenal's captain and attacking maestro, he weaves intricate passes through tight defenses with the effortless grace of a true number 10. He is technically flawless, but his primary flaw is a stubborn one-footedness. Ødegaard almost exclusively relies on his dominant left foot, an asset that is world-class but also predictable. When he receives the ball on the edge of the box, defenders know with absolute certainty that he will take an extra touch to shift the ball onto his left side. This subtle maneuver often gives the opponent a crucial half-second to close him down or block the passing lane. Pundits constantly point out moments where a clear shooting opportunity with his right foot is ignored in favor of a riskier pass or a slower cutback. For a player who thrives in the narrow, congested space of the central attacking third, rejecting a scoring chance because it's on his weaker side is an unacceptable luxury. The problem with Martin Ødegaard is that his single-minded reliance on his brilliant left foot gives opposing defenses an easy tactical blueprint for shutting down his creativity. Eden Hazard. Professional apathy. Once the greatest talent in the Premier League, an unplayable force for Chelsea, his career ended not with a whimper, but with a shrug. His problem was a fundamental professional apathy. Hazard never possessed the neurotic, obsessive work ethic of a Ronaldo or a Messi. He would turn up to Real Madrid's preseason reportedly overweight, viewing the demands of peak fitness as an optional extra. He admitted his body was simply tired after years of physical abuse in the Premier League, but the perceived lack of total commitment to his recovery and diet suggested a player who was content with his past brilliance rather than hungry for future glory. This lack of discipline, what others might call bon vivant, was tolerable at Chelsea because his weekly genius covered the cracks. At the highest level, it became a career killer, leading to an inevitable spiral of injuries and lost motivation. The problem with Eden Hazard was that he was too comfortable being brilliant, and that refusal to pursue perfection with total, monastic effort led to his rapid, sad demise. Rodri. Volatility. He is the quiet anchor of Manchester City, a pivot of almost impossible consistency who dictates the tempo of the game and rarely loses possession. He is hailed as the best defensive midfielder in the world. His biggest problem is a sudden, rare volatility. Rodri is usually the picture of calm, but under extreme pressure, he has a tendency to snap. This manifests in moments of intense frustration where he makes rash, uncharacteristic tackles or engages in aggressive confrontations that lead to red cards. His single most defining flaw is his susceptibility to suspension. When he is out, City's entire tactical structure crumbles, proving how absolutely critical his presence is. His rare, explosive outbursts, often born from intense internal pressure and a desire to win every duel, are massively amplified because they are so unexpected, and they always cost his team dearly. The issue with Rodri is that his almost flawless control over the game is periodically broken by moments of rash volatility that wipe out his presence, exposing his absolute importance to the entire system. Son Heung-min. Defensive sacrifice. The Korean sensation is one of the league's most clinical finishers, known for his explosive runs, two-footed brilliance, and infectious smile. He is a genuine global superstar who carries the weight of Tottenham's modern attack. His biggest problem is defensive sacrifice. Son has the work rate of a midfielder, constantly tracking back, pressing fullbacks, and covering space. This willingness to track back is often cited as a leadership trait, but it is also a huge drain on his primary job, scoring goals. He often spends crucial minutes covering for defensive errors or poor positioning, forcing him to make 80-yard sprints just to start the attack. By the time he receives the ball in the final third, the relentless defensive shifts have cost him the sharpness and explosive burst needed to finish. Under a high-pressing system, his physical output becomes unsustainable, leading to noticeable dips in his goal tally during the winter months. The problem with Son Heung-min is that his extraordinary commitment to defensive duties often forces him to sacrifice the physical energy needed to be a truly elite, decisive goal scorer. Alisson Becker. High-risk distribution. The Liverpool goalkeeper is revered for his shot-stopping and calmness under pressure. He is one of the world's best, but his biggest flaw is high-risk distribution under a fierce press. Alisson is often used as a crucial outfield player in Liverpool's build-up, capable of laser-guided passes to break the first line of defense. However, under the unrelenting pressure of a top Premier League press, he occasionally makes catastrophic, casual errors. He is prone to unnecessary risks, a slow touch, a pass into a dangerous central area, that lead directly to opposition goals. Critics remember the season where a few individual, high-profile distribution mistakes cost Liverpool crucial points, proving that his technical excellence can be quickly overridden by the need for speed and simplicity. He plays with an absolute confidence in his feet, but that confidence sometimes borders on arrogance, creating unnecessary danger for his back four. The issue with Alisson Becker is that his world-class ability with the ball at his feet sometimes leads to high-risk, overly ambitious distribution that has occasionally gifted goals to the opposition. Joško Gvardiol. Positional ambiguity. The young Croatian defender was signed by Manchester City for a record fee, known for his aggressive centre-back play and powerful left foot. He possesses all the tools to be a great modern defender, but his biggest issue is positional ambiguity. Pep Guardiola has deployed him almost exclusively at left-back, a role that often requires him to stifle his natural attacking instincts and prioritize crossing over carrying. As a centre-back, he showed supreme dominance and confidence. As a full-back, he is still learning the nuances of the role, often struggling with the timing of his runs and the necessary defensive awareness on the flank. This constant shuffling between positions, a trait Pep often uses to great effect, has meant Gvardiol has not yet mastered either role at the elite level. His massive price tag demands immediate perfection in a fixed role, yet he remains in transition. The problem with Joško Gvardiol is that his immense talent is being scattered across multiple defensive positions, slowing his ultimate development into the world-class pillar he is destined to be. Emi Martínez. Performance art. The World Cup-winning goalkeeper is technically excellent, a commanding figure, and a phenomenal shot-stopper. But his problem is performance art. Martínez treats football like a theater production, and he is the leading man. His excessive time-wasting, theatrical reactions, and hyper-aggressive attempts to antagonize the opposition often cross the line from gamesmanship to unnecessary distraction. While his histrionics are designed to put off penalty takers and galvanize his defense, they also lead to predictable bookings and constant tension with officials. His dramatic flair occasionally spills over into complacency, leading to frustrating, avoidable errors when he attempts risky, casual passes out from the back, relying too much on the showmanship rather than the simple execution. He often admits to being frustrated when he concedes goals, proving that his emotional involvement can be a double-edged sword. The issue with Emi Martínez is that his obsession with being the central, controversial character often overshadows his elite goalkeeping ability, injecting unnecessary chaos and risk into his game. Ollie Watkins. Streaky finishing. The Aston Villa striker has developed into one of the most complete forwards in the league. He is relentless, strong, and a tireless presser. He creates as many chances as he finishes. His biggest issue is streaky finishing. Watkins is a confidence player. He can go on a blistering run of form where every chance, no matter how difficult, hits the back of the net. Then, he will hit a prolonged dry spell where he misses sitters, hits the post, and overthinks simple finishes. During these periods, his goal tally drops off dramatically, and the burden of carrying the Villa attack becomes visible. His all-action style means he uses massive amounts of energy outside the box, and that fatigue can sometimes cost him the composure needed for the final, decisive touch. He is always in the right place, but the conversion rate, the measure of a truly elite, world-class number 9, is too erratic. The problem with Ollie Watkins is that his goal scoring is defined by unpredictable streaks, not the consistent, clinical ruthlessness required to challenge for the Golden Boot every single season. Moisés Caicedo. Foundational anxiety. The Chelsea midfielder arrived for a record British transfer fee, bringing a defensive tenacity and engine that few could match at Brighton. His problem, however, is a lingering foundational anxiety rooted in the pressure of that price tag. In his early Chelsea days, his debut was marked by a costly, rash penalty, and subsequent performances featured uncharacteristic, basic turnovers in the defensive third. This wasn't a lack of ability. It was the visible weight of expectation causing a split-second pause or a desperate lunge. He is a phenomenal ball winner, but his high-energy, all-action style means he is constantly walking the disciplinary tightrope. To truly anchor a young Chelsea side, he needs to eliminate the panic passes and the desperate late tackles that are symptomatic of a player overcommitting to justify his valuation. The problem with Moisés Caicedo is that his colossal price tag created an anxiety that led to costly, foundational mistakes, momentarily undermining the defensive reliability he was bought to provide. Enzo Fernández. Defensive exposure. The Argentine World Cup winner is an exquisite passer, a quarterback who sprays the ball across the pitch with vision and velvet touch. He is the ultimate press-resistant playmaker. His biggest flaw is defensive exposure. Enzo's natural instinct is to dictate, create, and search for the killer pass, often leaving him structurally vulnerable when the opponent launches a quick counterattack. When forced to play as a deep-lying number 6 in a two-man midfield, he often lacks the positional discipline and the raw, aggressive physicality needed to truly shield the back four from elite runners. He is better at tackling than most number 10s, but he is a defensive liability compared to a specialized number 6 like Rodri or Caicedo. His vision focuses forward, but the game often demands he look backward, leading to moments where space opens up directly behind him. The issue with Enzo Fernández is that his creative genius often pulls him too far forward, exposing the defensive backline to transitions that his passing brilliance cannot prevent. Marcus Rashford. Tactical indecision. The Manchester United winger is blessed with frightening speed, power, and a world-class shot when he is confident. However, his biggest problem is tactical indecision. Rashford often suffers from a split-second delay between receiving the ball and deciding his next move, shoot, pass, or dribble. This hesitation allows defenders to close the space, turning a dangerous counterattack into a lost opportunity. He overthinks simple passes, often passing up a clear chance to put a teammate through for a shot, in favor of an extra dribble that leads to a turnover. His positioning can be passive, especially when playing wide, making him easy to mark out of the game when he lacks motivation. When he plays with fire and commitment, he is unstoppable, but too often, he looks bogged down by the coaching and the constant tactical requirements of a struggling system. He is a player who thrives on instinct, but the need to adhere to rigid plans seems to dampen his natural flair and decision-making speed. The issue with Marcus Rashford is that he thinks too much when he should be running on pure instinct, turning his blistering pace and technique into bouts of confusing tactical paralysis. And there you have it, the flaw that shadows the genius of every superstar in the Premier League. From Haaland's isolation to KDB's fragility, the problem is always internal. Tell us your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, share this video with your fellow football loved ones and hit that bell so you don't miss the next countdown. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this, leave a like, comment your thoughts, and subscribe cause I'll be posting frequently here.